Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another brand new Tumbler tutorial. In this video, we'll be making another Halloween themed tumbler. Now that it's September, I'm really totally Halloween, fall, full-fledged. I am so ready for it. So I hope you guys enjoy the tutorial. If you do, make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below and make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any of my new videos. I upload brand new Tumbler tutorials every Tuesday and Saturday. As always, everything I'm using in this video will be listed and linked down below in the description box. I've also got some discount codes down there for you, as well as links to all of my social media pages if you'd like to follow along with me anywhere else. I also have a link to my Facebook group and also my exclusive Patreon group, which is like my mentorship special community. So be sure to check that out. All of that stuff is again down below in the description box. Okay, I think that's it. I really hope you guys like the video. Let's go!
Jumping right in, we're going to be using a 20-ounce skinny straight tumbler from Craft Haven. This is the powder coated black, so it's ready to go. We don't need to prep it or paint it or anything like that. The sheet of vinyl I'm using is from Gracefully Created, and so is this decal that I'm going to put on the cup later. So we're going to start by putting this sheet of vinyl on our cup, and I want to put it about 3/4 of the way down the cup. I want to leave a little bit at the bottom for our peekaboo section. You can do half and half if you want. You can do, a smaller top section. Whatever you want to do is totally fine. So I'm going to trim down my vinyl and then I'm going to line it up with the straight edge at the bottom of the vinyl and just kind of line it up, make sure that it's going to line up as seamlessly as I can get it. And then using a piece of blue painter's tape, I'm going to secure one edge of the vinyl down so that it stays aligned the way that I lined it up initially. I'll cut off any excess. You can do this at the end as well if you'd like. And then I'm going to peel back a little piece of the backing and start to smooth the vinyl down onto my cup. So just about an inch or so is plenty. You just want to make sure that you stick a little bit of your vinyl down and then wrap it around your cup again just to double check and verify, make sure that it's going to line up straight and that you're not going to have this wonky off-kilter wrap at the very end. So once everything is good to go and placed correctly, I'm going to take my vinyl scraping tool from Craft Haven. This is a felt edged scraping tool. Make sure you use a soft edge one. The hard one on the edges might scratch your vinyl or mess up the pattern. So always use a felt edge squeegee to do this technique. Once I get to the point where my two seams are going to line up, I'm going to remove the rest of that painter's tape, smooth the remaining vinyl onto the cup, and then based on the amount of overlap I have, I might trim off a little bit. I'm going to cut off just a little tiny bit of it here with my craft knife. I always like to leave a tiny little sliver of overlap just to make sure we don't have any gapping in the vinyl. I don't want to see any of the cup underneath because I cut my vinyl too short or I trim my seam too much. So I always like to leave just a little tiny bit of overlap. Then up at the top rim, I'm going to pull the vinyl tightly up over the rim so we can get a really good seal up there. And then I'll go in with my craft knife and cut off all of that excess vinyl. I highly recommend using a newer blade when you do this. It makes it so much easier. I just buy my blades in bulk on Amazon and I change my blade all the time. It really makes a huge difference. Then I'll take my craft knife up at the top rim again, get rid of all of those tiny little slivers of vinyl that are hanging out up there, and then I'll take some blue painter's tape and tape off this bottom edge of the vinyl so that we can get working on this bottom portion of our cup. We're going to apply a few different glitters to the bottom of our cup. So I'm going to add a tiny little bit of epoxy. We'll use the epoxy method to apply the glitter because we're going to add so many. I want to have plenty of working time. So the first glitter we're going to use is Capella from PDB. This is a yellow fine cut glitter. And what we're going to do is basically just do a random kind of ombre stripey situation down here. This is going to be a peekaboo, so you don't have to worry about blending your colors perfectly or anything. We really just want to get a lot of color variation in this bottom glitter portion. So next I'm going in with Sirius, which is a fine cut purple. And then after that I'm going to go in with Habanero, which is a chunky neon orange color. All of those are from PDB, by the way. So I'm going to put all of those in kind of just, you can see I'm just putting them wherever. I'm not really trying to blend them. And then finally, I'm going to go in with Golden Shores, which is from Peachy Olive Glitters. And I'm going to put that pretty much everywhere as well. Then I'm going to tap off all of the excess. And then on top of all of my colors, I'm going to take Chantilly, which is also from Peachy Olive Glitters, and put that on the entire portion of the cup just to help kind of blend those a little tiny bit. It's kind of like a cheat way to blend your colors together. It'll also fill in any empty space that we might have missed with the glitter. I'm going to remove my tape immediately, and then I'm going to wrap my cup in some scrapbook paper. You can also use parchment paper if that's what you have. The goal here is to just get the glitter to lay flat so that when we go into epoxy, it doesn't, you know, get up and stand up straight and poke us and, you know, give us a lot of trouble later. I'm also going to seal my glitter. I'm using the glitter glue from the Crystal company to do this. You can use Mod Podge if you prefer, but I think the glitter glue is far superior in my opinion. So I'm just going to brush that on the glitter section, let it dry at least 2 hours, and then I'll be ready to go in with my first coats of epoxy. I'm using KS Resin Liquidy Split Ultra UV epoxy for my coats. This is their fast set, so about every 2 hours you can go in with another coat. I'm going to add 2 coats here, and then my cup will be ready for the peekaboo. If your cup isn't totally smooth, you can do a little bit of sanding and then add a 3rd coat. You just want to make sure that your cup is as smooth as possible before you go in and do the peekaboo. So I sanded down that glitter portion just to make sure it was extra smooth. And now I'm going to take some painter's tape and tape off that vinyl section so that we only have the glitter bottom portion exposed. And I'm using this pretty cheap painter's tape I got in a pack on Amazon. I'll have it linked down below in the description box. And I'm taking the thinnest one in the pack. It comes in all different sizes. And I'm going to basically just create this alternating like stripe pattern. So I'm laying down a piece of the tape, using a little spacer piece of the tape to make sure that I get everything spaced out evenly, and I'm just going to continue to do this around the entire width of this bottom portion of the cup. So these stripes being really thin are going to help camouflage the fact that our glitters aren't blended that perfectly, but you're going to be able to see a lot of variation in the peekaboo. When you go around the cup, you'll be able to see all of those colors that are kind of replicated up in our vinyl pattern to help tie everything together. So I'm going to tape all around this bottom portion of the cup, and then once I get to the end, I'm going to take some saran wrap and wrap that top portion so we don't get any spray paint on there, and I'm going to paint it with flat black paint from Rustoleum. Let it dry about 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'll be ready to go in and remove all of my tape. So I'm going to remove this top portion, the big piece of tape first, and that's kind of going to lift all of our tiny little pieces, and then I'll just very carefully peel all of those little pieces of tape up to expose that glitter underneath. Once I'm finished pulling up all my tape, I'm going to go right in and apply my decal. I'm not going to do a coat of epoxy in between. I'm going to find the seam of my vinyl on the back of my cup and then lie my cup down so that I put this decal on the exact opposite side of the seam, if that makes sense, so on the front of our cup. This decal is from Gracefully Created. It's a white backed decal, which means it's going to pop on any background. So I'm just going to take it right off the backing and put it on my cup like a sticker. Make sure it's smoothed down really well, and then I'm going to go in and add another coat of epoxy. I'm still using the Liquidy Split from KS Resin, so I'm going to add this coat, wait about 2 to 3 hours, and then I'll be ready to go in for my next step. Now it's time to add the striping detail to the middle portion of our cup where our vinyl and our peekaboo meet. I'm first going to take some black Oracal 651 vinyl and place that right on the seam using the straight line of one of my peekaboo stripes to place the edge of my striping vinyl down to make sure that I get it on there straight, and then just wrap the cup around on my cup cradle. Really let the cup do all the work. I'm just holding the vinyl striping steady and then turning my cup to get it laid down on the cup, if that makes sense. Then right on top of that black, I'm going to go in with coral orange opal vinyl from Tech Rock Craft and put that directly on the black. I cut this a little tiny bit smaller, not much smaller, but a little tiny bit so you can still see a tiny smidge of the black poking through. Then on the bottom of the cup, I'm going to place a circle that I cut out of the same vinyl we used on the top portion of the cup. I cut this circle at 2.2 inches in diameter, and then just smoothed it down on the cup as you can see. pop any bubbles with the tip of your craft knife, and then you'll be ready to go in with your final coats of epoxy. So for my final coats, I'm using Liquid Art UV from KS Resin, which is just their regular old epoxy. And once that's all cured, this cup is all finished. So here is the final result. I love how this vinyl and the decal come together, and I'm really happy with how the peekaboo turned out. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already so you don't miss any of my new videos. I upload brand new Tumbler tutorials every Tuesday and Saturday. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, love you. Bye.
If you forget to breathe when you talk, it gets hard. One link. I have one link to everything. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I said that already. Subscribe and like it. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.